Jesse, Mr. Chan, Chris, and James for sharing about my dad, our father. And heartfelt thanks to all of you who are here today to share with us this memorial service for my father. Some of you knew my brother personally, and others are here to give us support, and thank you for that. I'd like to share some salient details of my dad's life, but I don't think what I share will be enough to encapsulate everything about him. Okay? Now, I would say that he spent the bulk of his life caring for his family. He was strict but mellowed a lot in his later years, always there when we, his children, needed him. He gave us room to grow and was supportive of what we wanted to do. He disciplined us and was strict when we were growing up. Nonetheless, he mellowed a lot in the last decade or so. He kept a well-organized household. He would care for us when we were sick, even choosing to sleep on the chair next to our bed, just to make sure we were okay. When our late mom was in hospital, even the nurses were amazed at his devotion. He was indeed selfless and very responsible to his family. As children, we also gave him a lot of grief, but he was long-suffering and always forgave us. He went the extra mile for us. Our dad showed his love for us by doing things for us. He wasn't very demonstrative when we were older, but he was always there for us. He kept a close circle of friends, of which Mr. Chan is one of them, especially from his teaching days at Sangila, and another group with whom he played table tennis with. He loved the game so much. He loved his friends too, and I know that those of you who had him as a friend loved him too. He had several interests throughout his life. Started with watching football, then playing badminton at his school hall. I used to join him there. Then for a stint, school hall when he was a teacher that day, not when he was a student, I would have been born, right? He went fishing, and then he started playing table tennis very often. He also watched a lot of table tennis on TV and tennis as well in the last few years. He enjoyed reading, and among his other interests, very early on, when we were growing up, he would take 8mm film. And my brother just reminded me that you even had to send those films to Australia to be developed. Already in his 70s, he learned how to use the internet and email his friends and relatives. He even bought his iPad 2 last year and often sent his emails from it. He even had a Facebook account. Although it was difficult for him to remember all the steps to using email, like when he wanted to send an attachment, he persevered nonetheless. He never stopped learning. Although not outwardly religious, Dad showed by example how to live right. When a mom passed on in 2007, my dad went back to church until he had to stay back to help my brother, and later on he had a backache and he couldn't sit for too long. Nonetheless, I have noticed him reading his daily bread in large print every morning. He communed with the Lord in his own time. Sometimes some ladies from the church, of which Jesse and Chris were some of them, would come by and encourage our father and pray for him. He was always happy for someone to pray for him. For me, my dad was always very strong. He always bounced back from his various illnesses. I never dreamed he would go so suddenly, but he did because his heart failed him. A heart that never ceased worrying and caring for his family. I'm confident that he's resting in the arms of the Lord, peaceful at last. On hindsight, I believe the Lord gave my father extra time. He had a heart attack actually and a bypass way back in 1987. And to his demise, my dad lived another 24 years. So we praise God for our father's life. Tonight is a thanksgiving for Mr. Louis Muti for being a devoted husband, caring father to his children, a good relative, a good friend to his friends, and even a good employer to our domestic helper. He was always very kind to those in need. And finally, tonight is also thanksgiving to our God for His grace, His strength, His peace, His gift of salvation, and His gift of blessing us with the opportunity of knowing such a